Welcome to Music 101 with your host, Alexis Steele on CNEU Rock Radio. Sponsored by Steele Entertainment and Records LLC for all your entertainment needs, and also Romeo Recordings. Find them both on the web at Steele Entertainment and Records LLC.com and RomeoRecordings.com.
Hi, this is Joe Bouchard, formerly of the Blue Oyster Cult, and you are listening to Music 101 with Alexis Steele. Don't fear the Reaper now.
Steele with Music 101. It's with great pleasure that I am introducing our interview today with Joe Bouchard from Blue Oyster Cult. How you doing tonight, Joe?
I'm doing just fine. It's great to talk to you.
Okay, great to talk to you, too. Joe, I'm going to do a little background for our listeners. Okay, I like to always start off a little bit like that. Now, you grew up in Clayton, New York, right?
That's correct. It's a very small town up on the St. Lawrence River in upstate New York. It was a great place to grow up. It's where I learned to play in bands. We lived on a farm, but we didn't like farming, so we turned the barn into a dance hall.
Oh, very cool.
In my early days, we had barn dances.
Oh, so did you come from a musical family?
Well, sort of, yes. My mother played a little piano. She loved to sing, and my dad actually played a little bit of guitar, so he started me. All my brothers and sisters played music in one form or another. So it was a big rollicking family of I had 5 brothers and 1 sister.
Wow!
And we all made music, and we did barn dances in the summertime. And it seemed like a real natural that I would follow a music career. There's nothing else I enjoy more than making music.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. My older brother, Albert, he went off to college, and when he was in engineering school at Clarkson College, he met the guitar player from Blue Oyster Cult. His name is Donald Roser, and they started a couple of bands. They were in a couple of bands together, a college band, and then they both dropped out of college and started a band in New York City called the Soft White Underbelly, and I knew them, and I would jam with them. When I was in college, I would take my college vacations and go to their band house on Long Island, and eventually, about 3 years later, they asked me to join the band and become their bass player. So we changed our name to Blue Oyster Cult. We auditioned for Columbia Records, changed our name to Blue Oyster Cult, and the rest is history.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I hear that you're actually originally a guitar player, but you also play a lot of instruments, including keyboard and trumpet, huh?
Yeah, well, I have a degree in classical piano from Ithaca College, but I was always a guitar player, from like maybe when I was 10 years old, I started playing the guitar. So I'd always been a guitar player. And bass, I did something as a side, just ended up being the bass player in Blue Oyster Cult because nobody else wanted to do it.
So by default,
that often happens, They're desperate for a bass player, and I said, "Oh, sure, I can play bass." So,
well, the bass player is always one of the hardest to find. Bass players and keyboard players.
Right. There's tons of guitar players, but not enough bass players. So,
absolutely. Well, I have to ask you this about one of the most famous rock songs in history that you guys did, "Don't Fear the Reaper." How did this all come about? What's the meaning behind that? Is there any, deep meaning? And tell me about it.
Donald got himself. This is our guitar player, Donald Roser. He got himself, also known as Buck Dharma. If you're
right,
you may see him on records as Buck Dharma. But his real name is Don Roser, and he got a tape machine and worked in the basement of his house and came up with this brilliant demo of a song called "Don't Fear the Reaper," and we were looking for a song that could be that could fit sort of the image of Blue Oyster Cult, the dark, mystical image of Blue Oyster Cult, but still could be a song that would be commercial enough to be played on the radio. And Reaper was that song, and so we put it out in 1976, top 20 hit, went to number 12 on the charts, which is really incredible for a band that was sort of underground like Blue Oyster Cult. It changed our whole life, We all of a sudden we went from an opening act to being headliners, and for about 6 years we were one of the biggest groups in the world. It was really a great ride.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So how did you guys come up with the name of Blue Oyster Cult?
Well, choosing a name for a band is probably the most difficult thing that a band has to do. So we knew that we had to change our name from our the 60s band, Soft White Underbelly. It just wasn't working, and we wanted something that was more modern, I guess, or whatever of the time. So we argued about a lot of very stupid, silly names. And finally, we just said to our manager, "Just tell us what it's going to be. We're sick of arguing about the name. Just we're going to lock you in a room with your partner, and when you come out of that room, you just tell us what it is. We don't care, because we're wasting too much time arguing about the name when we should have been practicing songs." So they went into a little room, and about a half hour later, they came out and says, "We got it. It's going to be Blue Oyster Cult." And we went, "Oh, no." But very quickly, our manager ran it by people in advertising at Columbia Records. We were signed to Columbia, but we had no name to put on the contract. So the people at Columbia said, "This is great. We can do something with this name." The name actually came from a poem that our manager wrote called Blue Oyster Cult, and I think I had seen the name, in his piles of notes that we would write songs with. He had this very long, involved sort of history of the world as he saw it through his eyes, his mythology about World War II and changes in civilization, and he had all this grand stuff. And Blue Oyster Cult were actually aliens from outer space.
Oh, okay.
Who came to Earth to change the course of history.
And you certainly did that.
Well, in a small way, I guess. I mean, luckily for us, we influenced the bands like Metallica and a lot of the heavier bands. We influenced Nirvana. The beat to Smells Like Teen Spirit is actually the beat to Godzilla.
Oh, yeah. I never...
Yeah. They, and what was this song? Message in a Bottle by the Police was actually written around the riff to Don't Fear the Reaper.
Okay.
Yeah, so, whether you know it or not, you have some success as artists and are known in the public, you start influencing people, and it was a pretty lucky thing that it all sort of coalesced like that,
Yeah, and those are all great artists and great songs that you just mentioned as well.
Yeah, you never know. We stole it from the Byrds, and the Police stole it from us.
Now, Joe, your signature piece is Hot Rails to Hell, right?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it was kind of written very quickly back in late 1972, and it sort of relates to this agent of ours who was murdered. He was, we had this agent, and, we're just like playing clubs like any other band, and all of a sudden we find out that our agent was murdered over a gambling debt. and like, whoa, this is like really bizarre. So I ended up, just putting in, very quickly throwing all this stuff in together, and it became Hot Rails to Hell. The guys in the band liked it, and I said, okay, let's rock. And it became sort of a signature song that related to the early days of Blue Oyster Cult. And also it was kind of like it was heavy metal, but it had a little punk vibe to it. So I think it's managed to stand up, and it's still a very popular song today.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to do for our listeners, we're going to take a listen to Joe's signature song.
1973. Hang on to your seat.
1973. Okay, we're going to take a listen to Hot Rails to Hell, and we're going to be right back with Joe on Music 101.
Awesome.
Scratched on the wall, stoned out looks from the crowd.
we're back here on Music 101 with Joe Bouchard, founding member of Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah.
Okay, Joe, now you retired from Blue Oyster Cult back in 1986 to dedicate, I guess, time to composing music and teaching, right?
Yeah. Well, I was kind of burned out from constant touring and just the whole routine and so I thought it was time for a change, and I didn't really know what I was going to do, but I just knew I had to do something different. And, it's been an incredible ride since then. It was a great ride through the whole Blue Oyster Cult time. But even since then, I've had some incredible experiences. And I'm having the best time of my life right now.
Great. Yeah. That's awesome, that you were able to do that. And over the last few years, you actually completed your master's degree in music.
Yeah, it was just a thing where I thought it was a good thing to do, and I just kind of enjoyed the academic side of music, and I wasn't doing that much with the bands, and so I said, well, I'll see what it's like to study music as a serious composer. So my music. My master's degree is in music composition. It was great because I really got excited about writing music, and it was the first time I wrote music that wasn't in a song framework. Before that, I'd been writing, and it was always like you had to do the song in a certain way, but this was like wide open. And I started doing electronic music and music on the computer and sound collages and all kinds of great stuff. It was a great experience. And I think it's helped me now with the stuff that I'm writing now. I mean, I'm still a songwriter, but I'm able to weave in and out of certain other musical things, and it makes for a very interesting place to be.
Absolutely. And I found out you're also a teacher as well, right?
Yeah, I do some teaching. I have a little private teaching business. I don't let it interfere with my rock and roll life.
Okay, so you're living in Connecticut now, right?
I live in Connecticut. It's nice. There's a lot of private schools, and that's what I do. Is I do private schools around here, and it gives me the freedom to be, to write and to tour, and not be tied down to, sort of a strenuous public school system, tied to my job. I have a lot of flexibility in what I do. So, and I really enjoy sort of passing on my knowledge of rock and roll bands to a whole nother generation, and it really works. Today I was working with 7th and 8th and 9th graders and showing them how to be a rock band. It was like, wow, and they started getting really good. So it's exciting on that end, too.
Yeah, so that's what inspired you to do this.
Yeah.
Kind of bring it into the new generation.
You got it. I'm very inspired by a lot of the people I've taught over the years, and they teach me, and they keep me up to date with new things that are happening. I just started working on a band called Mute Math. Do you know who Mute Math is?
No, not familiar with them.
They are a really great band, and so it's like one of the new things that I've just discovered.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, over the course of the years, you've done some other things. You actually had BDS, Bouchard, Dunaway, and Smith with Dennis Dunaway and Neil Smith from
You're familiar with Bouchard, Dunaway, and Smith?
Yes, I am. I also have your live in Paris.
Oh, Neil. I love Neil. Neil was the original drummer with Alice Cooper.
Oh, yes.
Amazing drummer, great personality, iconic drum parts that he crafted for Schools Out and I'm 18 and
$1 Billion Baby.
No More Mr. Nice Guy. They're all great. And one of the things I did after Blue Oyster Cult was to start this little band with Neil. And we actually started while I was still in Blue Oyster Cult. I would come home after a tour, and I would go right to Neil's house. And like 20 minutes later, we were jamming and making music and having fun. We actually made a studio album. We did a live album live in Paris, France. We went on tour in Europe, and it was a great fun time. That was about 2000, maybe like 1997 through like 2002. And but we moved on from there. Unfortunately, Neil really doesn't like to travel that much. So we, Dennis and I, my good buddy Dennis that I've worked with for, 3 decades, decided we were going to start this band Blue Coupe.
Right, that was what I was just going to ask you next.
Yeah. In which involves my brother Albert, who was the original drummer and got me into Blue Oyster Cult. One thing led to another, and the next thing you know, we're doing an album, and Robbie Krieger from the Doors says, "Yeah, if you do an album, I'll play on your album." So he did. Robbie Krieger from the Doors plays on the first Blue Coupe album. So
cool.
Yeah, and that once you get Robbie Krieger involved, you got to do a whole album. Yeah. So. Yeah, I would love to play with Neil again, but right now we're hot with Blue Coupe. Could play from Blue Coupe.
Yes, and actually, I was going to say I have one of your songs. It's "You Like Vampires."
Yes.
Okay.
And I love vampires.
Oh, you like Twilight? Do you watch Twilight?
And I've never seen Twilight.
Oh.
But I will. But I'm so busy, writing these songs and doing recordings that I don't get much chance to watch movies. But I'm planning to when I get a chance to slow down. But that's not going to happen anytime soon.
Absolutely. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take a listen to your song from Blue Coupe called "You Like Vampires," and we'll be right back with Joe on Music 101.
It's not what you say, it's what you do.
back with Joe Bouchard on Music 101. Joe, your latest album from Blue Coupe is called Million Miles, correct? Which includes
Million Miles More.
Million Miles More, I'm sorry.
Like we already put in our first million miles. Now we're working on our next million.
Okay.
And hopefully $1 million, too.
There you go, right? And so Buck Dharma is in that, and also Alice Cooper also made a special performance, right?
We asked Alice to do this back in July, and we were thinking maybe he'll play harmonica or maybe just do a little cameo appearance, and nothing. He's a busy guy. He's got to go play golf in Dubai. He's got to hang out with Johnny Depp. He's a busy celebrity. He hasn't got time for us. But guess what? About 4 weeks ago, he goes into the studio and he cuts a vocal on a song that we all co-wrote. Great song called "Hollow's Grave." It's like one of the ultimate Halloween songs.
I can't wait to hear that.
And to hear Alice's voice on that, it's just like 1972 again. Unbelievable.
I bet.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be really great. You got to come. Your listeners should come to the BlueCoupeBand.com website. Check out. We'll have samples up there pretty soon. We're still in the process of mixing. We got one of the greatest mixers of all time, Mr. Jack Douglas, who did Aerosmith and John Lennon and Cheap Trick and Patti Smith, and his partner Warren Ewart, who's a great young English guy who did The Fray and James Blunt, and they're our mix team, and they're mixing it right now. It's awesome. It's really awesome.
Very cool, very cool.
Yeah.
So you just came back. You were touring. Where was it, in the UK?
Yeah, we were in England. We played 9 shows in a row. Every show was fantastic. We had a couple of big shows that were sold out. We got to play with the Animals and Steve Cropper from the Blues Brothers, amazing legend in the music business. He's probably not that well known to people, but he's the guy that wrote Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, and also I'm Gonna Wait Till the Midnight Hour. All of those classic songs.
Sure.
And great guy. And we had a wonderful time in England with the Animals and Steve Cropper and playing shows all over the country.
Well, now you have had some solo projects. You have one called Jukebox in My Head, a CD that you did. And tell me about the song Dark Boat.
Oh, awesome song. I didn't write that song. My neighbor, a guy I grew up with that I've known all my life. He's a guitar player and kind of a folk performer, plays folk songs, and he played me my first Bob Dylan record way back when. And anyway, so he's been, my neighbor up in the Thousand Islands, up near Clayton, New York, and he writes these songs, and I heard him playing this song. I said, "Wow, that's a great song." And then a year later, we're at the same place, sitting on the porch, and he's playing this great song again. I said, "Oh man, I got to record that song." So I made a demo of it, and I didn't tell him I was doing this. I made a demo of it, and I said, "This is great. You got to, this is the people, the public has to hear this song. It's so intense." So it became one of the standout tracks on my first solo album, which is called Jukebox in My Head, and I just love it. People hear it, and it's got that vibe like Reaper, It's not Reaper, but it's got that vibe, and if you can encapsulate that into a song, it makes for a incredible song. And I've got an extended mix version that's really cool too. So it's fun to record and do a real solo record where I play. I think Michael Cardelloni from Lynyrd Skynyrd plays the drums on that.
Okay.
But and my friend Alan Becker plays the saxophone. But everything else, the mandolins and the guitars and the lead guitar, and all the vocal parts are just me. So it's like a real solo project.
Okay, cool. Well, what we're going to do is, for our listeners, we're going to play Dark Boat.
Awesome.
And we'll be back with more from Joe Bouchard on Music 101.
Great.
Collect my soul. I'll have one last look around, if you don't mind. I want to be by the river when the boatman says it's time. We once skated to a spot on the far horizon when the ice broke slick on the bay. I wanna be by the river when they collect my soul. and maybe we'll just skate away. I wanna be by the river when they collect my soul, and maybe we'll just skate away. Dark ball, rolling again, a sliver of a
We're back with Joe Bouchard.
Yeah.
Joe, you recently released a new solo album to rave reviews called Tales from the Island, right?
Yeah.
You performed every instrument in that?
Yeah. Now, I was going to have some other people help me on it, but it was one of those things where Blue Coupe was going out on tour. We had we were booked to go to Corsica and France. So we did so I wanted to get it out before I went on this tour. Just because of scheduling. And, I had all the parts, and I had everything where I wanted it. It would have been nice to do it with some other musicians, but I said, let's try putting this out and see what it's like to put out a record where I play everything on the record, bass, guitars, all the vocals, drums, percussion, and it's even better than the first one. I think every time you make a record, you try to make a better one. So I'm very happy with this, and it's gotten great reviews. It's called Tales from the Island. A lot of songs. The same guy who wrote Dark Boat, he wrote 7 of the songs on the album, and then I wrote 8 of the songs on the album. There's an instrumental. There's some songs that I co-wrote with Richard Meltzer, who wrote a lot of Blue Oyster Cult material, and also Helen Wheels. the late Helen Wheels, who wrote some songs for Blue Oyster Cult. So there's a lot of Blue Oyster Cult influence on the record, but it's different, and it's really a great album. I think it's great, and I hope a lot of people will think the same. And it's out there, and it's doing very well.
Okay, very good. So,
you might even play a cut from it.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. Tell me about Perpetrator.
Oh, Perpetrator. Oh, I love that song. Song about a cowboy song about good guys and bad guys, and also falling for the femme fatale in the song, and I just love it. And it's part of it's a song that I sing part of it, and then I speak part of it, and that was like a big challenge too. I didn't know if that was going to work out. But I love it. And then also there's a bass solo in the middle, so I get to take out my bass, the bass that I played on Burnin' For You, the classic Blue Oyster Cult. That's the bass on Perpetrator. So, yeah, it really is one of my favorite tracks on the album. And there's a video on YouTube that's doing very well. Yeah, love that song.
Okay, great. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to let our listeners take a listen to Perpetrator, and we'll be right back with more from Joe Bouchard on Music 101.
Great.
They meet, sheets of bullets fly.
Joe, what do you think about the music industry and how it's changed since your early years?
How has it changed? Well, it's a little bit more do-it-yourself these days. The big record companies don't have the sort of stranglehold on everything, you know. I mean, it's good and it's bad. It's good because the technology is at everybody's fingertips, and the cost has come down to record stuff. I can't even tell you the obscene amounts of money that Blue Oyster Cult spent on certain records. But nowadays, if you're clever enough and smart enough, you can make your own record at home, and then with a click of the mouse, you can send it out to the world, and it'll never replace the sort of live experience, the experience of performing live. But just to write a song and to get it out, it's not that hard these days, you know. And so I'm enjoying it, you know. I think also, you know, I have a lot of encouragement. That I get a lot of fan mail from all over the world: Germany, Italy, France, Australia, and they're so encouraging. So that makes me sort of, you know, I'm in touch with the fans where I really wasn't. I was kind of aloof back in the Blue Oyster Cult days. I mean, they always liked what we did, and of course, you know, if a record sold well, that made you feel good. But now, you know, it's not so much about the sales; it's just doing quality work, you know. And taking the time. I wrote some songs with great songwriter Ian Hunter. He was in Mott the Hoople, and he's done a ton of solo records. And when we were doing the Bouchard Dunaway Smith project, we got Ian to help us. So I sort of took songwriting lessons from Ian. He was very encouraging, and he told me certain techniques that songwriters use, and maybe I knew them in the back of my mind, but I didn't really put them into play until Ian said, "Hey, you got to do this. You got to put in the time. You can't just expect a song is going to come out of thin air. You really, when you roll up your sleeves and you brew a cup of coffee and get the pencils out, that's when you can write a song, you know." So I've had that attitude for the last, 7-8 years, and I think it's been very good.
So what do you enjoy doing most? Performing, writing music, or teaching?
I think performing is really, I love performing. It's kind of like maybe one of these days I'll get it right. So it's always like a work in progress performance, you know. But my guitar playing has improved a lot over the years. And also being able to front a band. Even though Dennis and Albert sing in Blue Coupe, most of the singing I have to do because that's what the guitar player does. It's gotten pretty comfortable to me, and it's a real thrill when the audience, gets off on it, But I'm enjoying a lot of other things too. I'm enjoying putting videos up on YouTube. That seems to be the name of the game now. You put a video up and hope that it gets some traction. Sometimes they're cover videos, sometimes they're new material, but that's still a very interesting art form at this stage. Even though MPV doesn't play videos anymore, it doesn't matter. You've got your own channel on YouTube.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of people have actually been discovered on YouTube.
Yes. It's like, it's like giving the power to the people, and you don't have to bow down to the executives and the big companies. It's all in your hands, A lot of young artists ask me, what do I have to do to make it? Well, you got to work your butt off forever.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You got to work your butt off forever. But the satisfaction comes from the music. If music is music chooses you. You don't choose music. Music chooses you. And then you just become a conduit for whatever the music tells you,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to take a listen to another song off Solo Disc, Tales from the Island, called Heart of Wine.
Yeah. That's the song. I had this for a long time. The lyrics came from Richard Meltzer. He's a famous journalist. He's written a lot of books. He wrote the lyrics to Burnin' For You.
Mm.
He was the lyricist for Burnin' For You.
Another great song.
Yeah, and I had these lyrics. They were in my, I have a special box that's in my attic. And when I get looking for ideas, I go up to this box, and it's been sitting there for about 20 years. And one of the lyrics was Heart of Wine. And I remember when I was working on this back in the, in the 80s, I think, early 80s, I said, I don't want to do that song. That's a song about old people, Well, it's perfect. It's actually perfect. It's actually a really great lyric, and it's all about, people with problems and breaking up with your girlfriend, and, it's great. And I really enjoyed putting that one together.
Okay, cool. Well, we're going to listen to Heart of Wine from Joe's CD, Tales from the Island, and we'll be right back on Music 101.
Down
with Joe Bouchard, founding member of Blue Oyster Cult, currently working with Blue Coupe, with Dennis Dunaway, and his brother Albert. Of course, you can't forget your brother Albert.
Yeah.
Joe, do you have any new shows or tours coming up soon?
Oh, yes. We're just starting to book the summer now. I may be in Italy for a week, but that's I can't really announce that, so don't tell anybody.
Okay.
but I haven't been to Italy in years and years and years, and I've got an opportunity to go there for a short tour, but we'll see what happens with that. We just got a booking. Blue Coupe just got a great booking in Chicago for August. So we're going to be doing a tour of the Midwest. I think we're going to be at the Hard Rock Cafe in Chicago on August 9th. What else do we have here? A few other dates. You can come out and come see my new website, joebouchard.com, and it will have all the information. I usually do I have a band called the X Brothers, and we're doing the Lynyrd Skynyrd cruise in October. We've done 5 cruises with Lynyrd Skynyrd. It's an absolute ball.
The Simple Man cruise, right?
Simple Man cruise, yes. Mm-hmm. This will be our 5th Simple Man cruise. And I have more gigs, but they're not quite confirmed yet for Blue Coupe. But come to the website, and it'll have all the information.
Yeah, well, if you don't have anything out in PA, we need to get you over.
I'd love to. I'd love to. Get us a gig.
Okay, sure, I will. We'll talk more about that. Yeah. Joe, is there anything that you would like to do that you haven't done already?
No, it's been a pretty good ride, I must say. I went to Iraq, and I played for the U.S. troops in Iraq in 2010. That was an incredible experience.
Wow, I bet.
I would like to tour the Far East. I went to Japan once, but I think it's time for another trip to the Far East. Australia keeps calling, and we almost went to Australia last year, but I've yet to go there. So I'm going to, be making some more recordings. I'm working on my 3rd solo album. I'm really excited about the release of the Blue Coupe album because it's so strong. The songs are so strong. And, the people that are working on the album have just come together, and it's really great. So, no, I don't think there's that much I want to do. Just do some more shows and do some more tours and, keep connected with the fans, Facebook is a big thing, I never thought it would, come to that, but a lot of people are connecting, on Facebook and the whole social media thing. I still don't understand what Twitter does.
Twitter, you can only say about one sentence, and that's about it.
Do you tweet?
I have actually 2 Twitter accounts, but I haven't really done anything. Actually, my business page automatically tweets. They
talk about it on the media all the time about, you this tweeted this and tweeted that. I can't figure it out.
All it is just like one line.
I know.
You don't get many words. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can attach something there. Yeah. And I get retweeted every once in a while, but I still don't understand it. It's like a mystery to me,
Well, I think, Facebook has more going on. I think Facebook, to me is more popular in a way than Twitter as far as, connecting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, if, come to my website, joebouchard.com. Come to my Facebook page, Joe Bouchard. It's the music guy. You'll know it's mine when you get there. It's all good,
Absolutely.
I'm connected with you through Facebook.
Exactly, I know.
See how good that is?
I know, that's what I mean. I've connected with a lot of people through Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's great. It's a great marketing tool, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, we have one more song off your solo album, Tales from the Island, called 1,000 Midnights.
1,000 Midnights. Oh, what a good rocker that is. And I love that track. It's a great track. Really rocks hard. So.
Okay, cool. All right, we're going to take a listen to 1000 Midnights off Tales from the Island from Joe Bouchard, and we'll be right back on Music 101.
Have exonerated you for all the misery that you put me through, and you think you got off light, but deep inside your heart, deep inside your heart, deep inside your heart, there's 1,000 midnights. Deep inside your heart, deep inside your heart, deep inside your heart, there's 1,000 midnights. And we'll start right on this bottle, and we'll drink, and we'll fight. Deep inside this bottle, there's 1,000 midnights. And the Sisters of Mercy have exonerated you for all the misery that you put me through. You think you got all right, but deep inside your heart, deep inside your heart, deep inside your heart, there's 1,000 midnights. Deep inside your heart, deep inside your heart, deep inside your heart, there's 1,000 midnights.
Hey, we're back with Joe Bouchard from Blue Oyster Cult and Blue Coupe. So, Joe, and I know you had mentioned before about, newcomers or what are asking you. So,
Yeah, how is
what advice to the young people, since you're working, in schools and stuff like that, do they ask you for your advice? What advice do you give them for breaking into?
First of all, start with the best possible songs. You can't have songs can never be too good. In fact, you never know when that great one is going to jump out of the pile. So you got to write a lot. You got to write a lot of songs, or somehow know how to find the best songs. It's a real trick, but that's what really lasts. If you want to last, you got to have great songs, and then don't try to be everything to everybody. It's better these days to be, find that little niche that that you really love to do, and really work that, instead of trying to be like something for everybody. And you'll never do that. It's just not going to happen.
So stay true to themselves, basically.
Yeah. Blue Oyster Cult didn't try to be everything to like the masses when we started out, and it's really lasted for a long time because I don't think that we were, really, going for, what was ever popular, the fad of the day, I mean, we weathered some hard storms. We had to weather the whole disco, fiasco. Disco music, but we stayed true to what we wanted to do, and we got some lucky breaks, and things worked out really good for us. They're still touring. Blue Oyster Cult still tours. We had a reunion back in November with the original members. A one-time thing. It would have been nice to do something that was like maybe a little bit more long-term. I'm a big Beach Boys fan. I really appreciated their tour where they did everybody they could, and did a fairly long tour. But it was nice to once get together with Buck and Eric and Albert and Alan Lanier too, which he hasn't been seen much. Keeps a real low profile. So, that was exciting. So we got a new box set, Blue Oyster Cult, on Columbia Records or CBS Records, 17 CDs. So if you're looking for a good Christmas gift.
Wow, there you go.
we appreciate any support, and it really tells the whole story of Blue Oyster Cult.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Joe, can you tell our listeners again where they can find your music? Do you have anything on iTunes or?
Yeah, iTunes, Joe Bouchard on iTunes, Amazon.com. The best place is to come to my website, which is joebouchard.com, and that's JOEBOUCHARD.com, one word. And there's a great new web page for browsing music. And I put the full song up there. I know some people say, don't, only put like a little sample. No, I want everybody just to really enjoy the music on my website. So come and say hello, sign my mailing list, and I don't spam anybody. It's just good to keep in touch with the fans, because we may be coming to your town.
That's right. Hopefully you will.
Hopefully we will.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you have it, fans. Joe has a lot of great music out there. You go on his website, iTunes, joebouchard.com. Check him out. Come out and support him at his show. And we look forward to more great things coming from you in the future.
Well, thank you. And thank you for doing this interview. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Joe. It's been a pleasure. Well, thank you so much for the interview, Joe, and you have a great evening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
This is Music 101, and you're listening to CNEU Rock Radio with Alexis Steele.